What is up, everyone? I hope you're doing fantastic. In this video, we're gonna talk about something that we just, well, actually, one of our clients in our circle, they asked if they could take one of the calls, and that call, he pretty much the whole subject is I have failed multiple times. It wasn't to my sixth, fourth, fifth, seventh business into I actually became successful. And then he went one by one, asking everybody in our inner circle how many business have they started and how many times they failed. And then I was one of the first person he asked, and I was like, yeah, no, this is like my seventh or eighth business, and the last two were the actually ones that were actually successful. Everything else just completely flopped before that, and it gave me an idea of like I should really talk more about this. That the one of the reasons why I think when I started the funding company, I was able to scale so quickly is because I already had the skills from previous business that were pretty successful. They just were not at the scale of that one, because maybe different, the operations and economics of scale, whatever the constraint of the business was at that time, right? But the level of entrepreneur and all the failed business that I had, I got a certain types of skills. So I was a certain level of entrepreneur. So that's why when I got to the funding company, I was able to scale so quickly. And I just wanted to just show you. I actually made a graphs of how little like I first started charging low ticket, and then the business was low rev, and how it slowly started like picking up momentum. And even though I even put time frames here. Let me just jump right into it if I could show you. Like the first business that I was first really, really focused on, and I didn't even look at a business. That's probably why it completely flopped. I was a music producer, and I had my own recording studio, and I would sell beats online. I would sell my recording session times, which I was technically selling my time, which is the worst thing you could do. But again, I wasn't business minded. I didn't know the scale of the mistakes that I was making. And I was selling beats for about $30 and packages up to 500. And I was so recording time in the studio, and that business was not really a business. I'll call it a hobby. I was in breaking even city. Like I was always breaking even, and I spent at least 10 years on that industry. And one of the main things that I learned from that business, and now looking back, at the time, you would ask me this, and I wouldn't even know what you're talking about. Again, I was not business minded, but it's not about the product, especially at some certain levels of revenue in the company. It's not about the product. It's not about hard work. It's not about the funnels, website automations, and landing page. It could be a little bit about that, but it's mainly about sales and marketing. um what I've been seeing, especially from the $1 to $3 million mark a year, it's all about marketing and sales. Then it is more about the product, and then product and management. But primarily, the beginning is all marketing and sales, right? But here's where I learned that it's not about the product. In the music, I was so obsessed with creating such a good product, I had to make I'm going to aim to make the best song ever, which nobody ever heard it because I had no marketing, right? So that's why it's not about the product, because you can create something amazing, but if nobody bought it, especially at scale, like then it's a really a good product, and nobody knows that it even exists, so it's not that good of a product. And that's where I was at. The next business that we I remember, this was a 10-year thing, right? Like actually when I started getting success is was in this 4 years. This 4 years I started pretty much five businesses, and the last three or two is one that like really really took off, because this one right here, we'll get into it. But as you can see here, just in this one I spent 10 years, and in here I spent 4 years just trying different things, and some of this popped the hell off, right? After the music stuff, one of the first thing that I did was I tried drop shipping. At the time, everybody and their mother was promoting drop shipping, so I tried it. And this were I learned a couple things about product management, media buying, which is one of the media buying. That's like what I'm using to this day. The reason why people pay me, or that I make the amount that I make, is all because my medium buying skills, to be honest. And I picked it up randomly by opening up a business that I didn't know that skill, that's what I was saying, that skill that I acquired back in 2019, 2020, I'm still using to this day, and is the reason why I make so much money, is because the media buying skill. Okay. And here I also learned more about funnels, websites, automations, landing pages. Like here, it's like I started learning about these two things. Also, my business partner Clara, my wife, she that's when she was also learning all this stuff because she was helping me. Like when I was mainly focused on the product and sales, she was focusing on back end and automations and websites and landing page, and all those apps and all those crazy stuff. Like that's where she was learning all this stuff. That's where she mainly picked it up. It was from this time. Then, but that was not too consistent. I couldn't pass 10K a month. I was maybe hitting 7, 8K. Then I couldn't, and then also it was very low profit margins because I was selling just a $30 product. It was it was cool. I learned a lot. Like the main thing I got from this business, what I learned, which was product management, product development, media buying. I got even more into the funnels, websites, automations, and like even more depth on that, right? Because you're running a website that you're buying products at across the world, and then you got to ship them to a warehouse in the USA for they could be 3 day shipping, and all it has to be at a good cost. You gotta, it's just it's a lot of work, but it started giving me the skills to go into the next thing, which the next thing was the rental business. And now actually here was the max, it was 1500, but here is where I first started seeing real money. Here's where I got a lot of business experience, how to run a company, how to leverage work, how to leverage my credit. It doesn't take time to scale. Not all the money is good money. I starting This also opened up to so many different opportunities, which is why I opened the other business. The rental business was the one that kind of like pushed me because I still wasn't making 20 30K a month consistently. The rental business, I got all the way up to 60 70K a month in revenue. Even those low profit margins, again, we're operating maybe at a 15 to 18% profit margins, which is not that much, but we were operating a very big business in a very short time. Like I think we got up to like 40 something cars and a couple of Airbnbs in a matter of months. It was literally half a year or 6 to 8 months we were already there, which I got, hey, it doesn't take time to scale. Like if you want to make a lot of money, you just need the right inputs and to generate the right inputs. And that's how you make the money. It's not about time. It's about the inputs that you put in it. It's not really time. Just has nothing to do with it. And most people say, oh, it takes time to scale. You need this, you need that. Yeah, you need all these things. But once you have all these things, the speed which you scale doesn't really matter, right? Um, yeah, so that was that business. The next one was the agency, right? The agency model was cool because this where I took my media buying skills and took it to another level, because now I started getting other business experience. I started helping other people scale and I started making other people money. The marketing agency really allowed me to see how much money I could truly make from a laptop, pretty much. Like how powerful was the knowledge that I have in my head of how to scale a company. The marketing agency allowed me to see, um, just to see more. I just further ahead, because renting cars was cool, but very busy, very hectic, a lot of management, very very high risk. There's a lot of problems with the business itself, but the agency was way less low risk with late maintenance. It was easier to input or to do the things that I needed to do to help these people, right? The bad thing about the agency, one of the reasons why I didn't scale it, is that I didn't want to keep learning different industry. I was very conscious of this because I like my first 10 clients are quickly started being different industries. Then later on we narrowed it down to like 3 different industries. But at first I was like, oh wait, not the same marketing is working across all different industries. Yeah, there's slight changes, but I didn't know their business, my clients, well enough for me to continue. There were some that immediately became successful, which would be the fitness business, the coaching business, the rental business, like even doctors and stuff like that. The opticals for glasses, those were really easy, but some more were not so easy. And this is why I did want to scale the agency so much. I even thought about getting more clients of the ones I already have, like go more into the fitness, go more into the help other car rental industry scale. But the problem with is, especially for the car rental, that's where I was like, these people are already in a spot that is it's very difficult to scale because how much high risk they have. And I didn't want to build another business on high risk, on like if anything happens, the business is done. And the rental business, you gotta, it's very high risk, so you gotta be very careful. Okay, you gotta be very protected. And then that move on into the funding. The funding is where also the pricing. As you can see here, we're charging $50 at the lowest to 1,500. Then the agency, we started charging 2.5 a month. And as you can see, my prices are going up and up and up and up because I'm getting more skills. I'm being more valuable to the market, so I could charge more. And then we get into the funding. When I was charging, when we were scaling the funding company to 300K months, we were charging $6,000. And now we're doing the model, which we're charging 25,000, 50,000. I even charged some people even 100,000. And as you can see, it's slowly higher and higher and higher and higher. And the next thing that is going to be, instead of charging people, it's going to be profit shares and partnerships. This for I could build a net worth of 50 million, 100 million. So it wouldn't be me charging people and keep doing that. It will be more partnerships and building equities and building difference with different companies, right? One thing that I wanted to show you too is that from all these businesses, yes, I learned a valuable skill in all of them, in which I put the skills right here, but I lost a shit ton of money. The main one that I lost the most money was the rental one. We lost an over $600,000 in total. This was the biggest. This almost broke me, and this almost broke us, like me, my family, like the business, because we got hit with in one day that we had to pay almost 250 grand because the law. If you guys don't know the story, I don't want to get into it, but pretty much trusted the wrong people, and we got screwed over, lost almost $600,000. So that right there gave me a lot of knowledge, experience, and just tough skin to move forward in that moment, because I could easily have broken me, my girl, and it could have gone bad. Not only did I lose a bunch of money in just this business. Of course, I lost money in all of them, but this is the one that, like, $600,000, a chunk of money. Also, in information, I spent over 150 grand, not more, just because, like, I'm only pointing the parts right here. But now we spent over 150 grand. We're probably like in the 160 or 80 grand in education. So not only have I lost over $6,000, I spent over 150 grand in education, and then I've also spent $1 million on ad spend, not only in my own business but other people's company. So all of this is compounding, all this knowledge, all these data, all these skills. Remember, all this is compounding in order. And the reason why I put little triangles here, because these are very small businesses that I had in between. Like, I had like a little tax company, I had like a little credit repair company that, like, they were making me 5-8 grand a month, but they weren't really popping off. That's why I put there. But all these little things, right? That it took only 4 years to make. From here, I was making nothing. Towards the end, I'm making 3.5, 3.6 per year, $1 million per year, right? It took me 4 years to get there. From here, it took me 4 years to get here. Around here, 3 years or so to start making this kind of money. And all of this knowledge, all this money that I've lost, all this data that I gathered, all this information that I bought, all the ad spend that I spend, not only in my own company but and others, is leading up to the point that I'm able to partner up with big companies or my clients or people who want to partner up, and we could do profit shares, right? So now I could own multiple businesses and own equity in multiple companies, like a minority share, but that increases my net worth, which if I do that for 5 years, 10 years, now my net worth could go into 50 million, 100 million, and so on. And I no longer have to be charging high ticket or whatever it may be, 25 grand, 50 grand, whatever it may be. I don't have to be charging these prices, right? I could start doing I'm always going to be charging for these products, because I'm trying to solve the problem, not for just, my clients now, but for the clients of the future. But what I'm saying is that this could have not happened like this, where I'm actually partnering up with our clients, when I'm partnering up with people who are reaching out to me saying, hey, if you help me scale my business, whatever, I could give you equity in my business, whatever it may be. It wouldn't have gotten there if I didn't go through all of this, through the 10 years in running, pretty much a break-even business, to running the dropshipping business, the rental, the agency, then the funding company, and now the model to help funding and credit companies scale. Right now, I'm helping other people do the same thing that I did. How I was doing 300K per month in my funding company. Now I'm helping the others do the same. Right? That would have never happened if, like, I would never gotten here if I wouldn't gone through this. If I wouldn't learn all this right here. This is all the key things that I learned from each business, and all the money that I spent, all the money that I lost, all the knowledge that I accumulated has been building up for me to be able to, be making the money that I can make a year, and so and keep going, right? And I also put it here in a graph for help you realize, or visualize, I'm sorry, what it kind of looks like. Now, this is the time, this right here, and this is how much money you make, right? In my first business, I am putting a lot of time in with low income, right? Because remember, this graph is the time. This graph is the income, right? So at my first business, lost a lot of time, lost a lot of, just mainly failed and lost a lot of time. I remember 10 years into the music industry, lost a lot of time. My second business, lost a lot of time and money. My third, fourth, fifth business, lost a lot of money and time. You get me? Then I get into the agency. Like how I put, here's where real growth happens, right? And like, which I put it down right here. Here's where the real growth really started happening. Here's where, like, that this time frame, after I put so many time and energy into a couple businesses and started failing and whatever, the real growth started happening right here, right? This is where really I started, like, okay, like, not only am I scaling in a way that is very predictable, I am making a lot of profit. I could see, like, how I could scale this and become a multi millionaire or whatever it may be, right? This is really what it started happening. Even though I couldn't scale the agency, I still gave me the skills that I needed to, like, okay, I know how to move forward, right? And then you can see how the next business and the next business and the next business and the next business, I am reducing the time that is taking me to make the same income that will take me, the last business before. So the time is condensing and the income is rising, which when I first started it is, I'm putting all the effort in. I'm putting 80% of the time in to only get 20% of the results. Now, the formula flips the more time and energy you put into growing different companies, which should be obvious for a lot of you guys, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes we feel like, hey, we started a business, we got to be successful right now. And I totally get you. But sometimes if this is your first business, second business, or whatever it may be, this for anybody, right? Sometimes it just takes time, and that learning curve, once you get past that learning curve, right, then you start making the profit you want in the life that you desire. But it comes after the failures and the data gathering, all this stuff, it comes after, right? um so as you can see here, like, every time I'm reducing the time it takes to more income. And here, finally, to build the $50 million net worth, $100 million net worth, I have to keep moving forward, gaining more leverage, opening new doors, new opportunity. Who knows? Maybe the one another business could be, I don't know, it could be maybe a SaaS company. It could be I make a brand new software for just credit and funding company, and that takes me, instead of 50 million, 200 million, whatever it may be, right? I don't know. Maybe 5 years from now, I will see the path that I will see, or I meet a person, or I do a new partnership or a new whatever, that I'm like, okay, now with this I can actually go even further. And again, I mean, decreasing the time that it allows me to make the money. Like, for an example, the rental company, I was making 60K per month or something, 50K per month, taking home maybe 10 to 20K. Right now, I am 20K, probably maybe 12 to 15. Now, in the model, I'm making that a week, sometimes in 4 or 5 days. That's what we're making, right? So I'm reducing. Sometimes it should take me a month, right? With a lot of inputs. I'm driving back and forth with a large team, a bunch of cars, high-end cars, right? So a lot of input to get a low input. Now in this business, is the formula flipped on its head. I'm putting little input and making way more. So what used to take me a month of work, now I'm doing it in a couple of days, right? And I'm talking about profits. And I'm pretty sure 3 years from now, what I make today, that is taking me a month, that 300K per month, I'm pretty sure 3 years, 4 years from now, I'm making that a day. I could be making 200, 300, or whatever it may be, whatever it may be, or it might take me 3 days, instead of taking me a month. Like, instead of doing 50K per or 75K or 50K per week, maybe I'm doing 50K a day, and that it will keep condensing and condensing and condensing as I gain more leverage and more knowledge of how to know what is the right buttons, what is the right input to generate the the income, because we always think, oh, we gotta work hard. We gotta work hard, and working hard is not an input to generate more cash, because you can work. I said this before. You can hard work your way into bankruptcy. All right, you can put all the hard work in you want, and you go straight into not making no money, because working hard does not correlate to making more money. It's making more money is putting the right inputs, right? What makes money, right? If me creating ads makes money, then that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna create a bunch of ads and get on the sales calls so I can make more money. That is the input, right? If I'm now selling lemonade on a corner, no matter how much lemonades I sell, I'm never gonna make as much as me getting running one ad, right? Getting a client to book a call with me and charge them $6,000 and maybe lose 1,000 or 1,500, even $2,000 in cost. So you keep four, right? You do 10 those a month, you're making out 40 grand a month in profits, you know, and that would have taken you a dramatically and astonishingly way less time than standing outside all day selling lemonade, right? It's higher leverage. Higher leverage. That's all it is. The more leverage you have, the more money you're able to make. That's why we got to increase the leverage, right? And this is not something you can do as soon as you start your business journey. You can even see this when you're starting off. I'm telling you, if you're a new entrepreneur, you probably can't even see this. I couldn't. I couldn't understand it. Even sometimes if I'm like, that's why I made a visual graph of it, because maybe you don't even understand this. You know, you can't even see what I'm talking about, because it's just ignorance tax. We just don't know, you know? And that is, I just had a call today with a prospect that I'm like, the difference between me and you is the knowledge that I know and the mistakes that I make and what to do to make the correct move to move forward, right? And you haven't paid enough of that ignorance tax. I have. And you know what is my ignorance tax? This is my ignorance tax. Paying over $600,000 in loss, spending over millions of dollars in my own ad spend and clients' ad spend, spending over 160 grand in education, books, mentorship, masterminds. That's me paying down my ignorance tax. I'm paying it down if I could know the knowledge and know the skills and know the right inputs, what buttons I need to press on the keyboard, right, for I could get the return that I want. Because if you tell if some let's say this keyboard, right, the keyboard that I tap my notes, let's say every time you press one of these keyboards you make $1. So we're all day just trying to make $1, right? But what if I told you there's a sequence that if you press STB, right, that is the sequence, you will actually make $100,000 per sequence, right? Now it's gonna take you three, STR, whatever, one, two, three letters. Like you can do it one, boom, boom, $100,000, or you press each key individually to make $1 until you get to 100K. Now, what is the difference? The difference is the inputs. I know that if I press ST, whatever it may be, right? STC, ST, whatever it may be, or I know I'm gonna get the 100K. So I know the inputs. Now it might have taken me, if somebody didn't tell me the sequence, it might have taken me, who knows, 5 years to maybe accidentally press the letters in a sequence for me to be like, wow, this is how I make 100 grand a month or whatever it may be. I actually had to do this, but it took me 5 years to figure out the sequence. That's you paying your ignorance tax. Now you either figure out the sequence by yourself, or you pay somebody to figure it out for you, or hey, you already figure it out, can you show me the blueprint? This is why I am able to charge 25 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand for my services, because I know what buttons to press to get the ROI and the return that you desire. Or you can just figure it out yourself and spend time and money, which is totally fine. You know, I did it. You know, even though I spend millions on ads and hundreds of thousands on information and whatever, I still figure some things out myself. Even though I pay a bunch of money on mentorship and masterminds, my mentors don't always know exactly how to help me. I always have to figure out some ways. You get me? That's why I keep paying down my ignorance tax. And I'm conscious of this. I am conscious the reason why I'm not to be able to make $1 million per month is because I don't know, I don't have the skills right now to do $1 million per month. I only have the skills to make 300, 400K per month. And as soon as I acquire the skill and I pay my ignorance tax down, then I know what to do, how to move forward, and how to push the right sequence into the keyboard or whatever it may be, the right inputs to get the desired output of $1 million per month or whatever it may be. So this is exactly how you scale. This is exactly how you make money. This is how you become profitable. This is how you get rich. It's not about hard work. It's about paying down your ignorance tax and putting the right inputs that generate the income, right? It's not just like the analogy of the keyboard. I just came up with right now, and I think it's genius, because it makes sense. You get me? Like if you input the right keyboard, then you're not gonna get the results. So little by little, if you're starting off, if you're completely, a brand new entrepreneur and you're not getting the results that you want, it's because you're not putting the right inputs in. And if you're not, that is okay. That comes with time. You just gotta put more energy in, try more different things in, be more coachable, look for the data. Data's out there. Ask around. All right. But that's it for this video. If you guys want something more like this, like more in-depth information, I do have a community that for just either $47 a week or $97 a month, you get access to over 100 hours of detailed information, how to start, grow, and scale your funding company to six-figure monthly in revenue. It's all self-implement. So if you're somebody who's lazy and is not going to self-educate and learn all yourself by himself, then don't even bother and clicking the link below. But if you're somebody who, hey, Javi, I just need the right tools, I just need the right systems, and I could get myself to that 5-10K per month, that program is perfect for you. That's why I made it, for you guys to get yourself to that revenue per month. And if you guys are already making the 15-20K per month and you want to join my inner circle, if I could help you scale to 50-100K per month, then book a demo call with us and see if you guys are the right fit to join us. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope you guys got a lot of value and understanding of what it takes to actually be successful. That it's not just like, I think there's very few entrepreneurs that only started one business and became a multi-billionaire. I think the only one there is probably Jeff Bezos. Most of the people that we study, they usually have a bunch of different failures before they finally became successful. Okay, so that's it for this video. I'll see you guys on the next one.